It would be my pleasure to tune in to CNN or Fox News or MSNBC tonight and just hear Brian Williams or Brett Baer or somebody just basically say, and there's a vote in from the state of California for Mike Del Tufo.
Rich, I am actually going to have a vote in New Jersey.
What do you mean?
My friend is voting for me as a write-in in New Jersey. That is a true,
That is pathetic.
What?
There's somebody in the Garden State who is writing in the name Mike Del Tufo for president of the United States.
Yeah.
What does that say about our nation, Terrell Davis? What does that? I mean, you've known Mikey Del Tufo forever and a day, right?
Yeah, that means we're in trouble. If Mike Del Tufo is the write-in, then I might write myself in this
Can you
election.
do that?
Why not?
Of course.
Not in all states.
It's there.
In certain states, you can't do write-ins.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you write in Elway though? I mean, I don't want to stir anything up here, but I mean,
but he's in Colorado,
right?
So, yeah, I think I'll just do California.
We're not for government. I'm just talking about the United States. I mean, how do you think Elway?
I don't know if he wants to though. I think he's pretty comfortable with what he's doing. I think he's okay.
Do you think he could be elected for state office in the state of California, John Elway?
Yeah, absolutely, no question about it. You know, he's raised here. As a matter of fact, you know, the high school that he went to, Granada Hills.
Yes.
My kid goes to Sierra Canyon, and that's their home field, and it's Elway's field. It's his actual John Elway Stadium.
It's named after him?
It's named after John Elway. So, and everybody I meet, they either played against John or they played with John.
Other than yourself, who's the most popular person you've ever been around? Where it's just like that person is the most popular. Like you can't walk somewhere, you can't. Who's that? Who would that be?
The most popular that I've been around?
Yeah.
Like for an extended,
for me,
extended period of time?
For me, it's Dion.
Prime. Yeah, because you're with him. Absolutely.
Walking through an airport with him. And I've walked through an airport with him and Chris Berman with Prime.
Right.
Everybody. TSA agents, all different shapes, stripes, men, women, the whole thing. Stop him.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'd say I don't want to name drop. I don't want to name drop on the show. That's what it is. Look, I don't want to name drop on the show.
You definitely want to name
drop. Hold on a minute.
But
I've got my own drop on the show. What is the name of the show to remind Terrell Davis?
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Okay, so I'm not ashamed.
You're not ashamed.
No.
But that's what you do, Rich. That's part of your DNA, man. You drop names, man. I don't
not a damn debate guy.
There is an Ian Davis, though.
There is an Ian Davis. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know me,
so
man.
Go name drop. Go ahead.
I'd say the one person that Tyrese Gibson.
Okay.
Yeah, it was probably the one guy that I've been around that.
Men too?
Oh yeah. It's like
okay.
You know, they don't even recognize that I even existed. Like I wasn't even there. But it was cool.
So like
it was cool.
I would not have guessed you would go an underwear model with me right now. Out of all the people.
Or the Coke. Or remember the Coke? That's when he was first known for.
Okay.
On the bus, he was singing with the Coca-Cola. But that was one time where I'm like, hey, you know, it was different to see it because I had never experienced it, but now I know how it feels to be that other guy. Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Well, you are the guy. I mean, I've walked around airports with you too, Terrell Davis.
No,
in Denver, in particular, San Diego too. You're kind of like. I mean, Marshall. You know, Marshall has like 5-6 towns that he could claim as his own.
Yeah, Marshall's another guy. You walk around with Marshall, they won't recognize who you are because everybody's focused on Marshall.
Come on now, not with
I've
you.
done it. Traveled with Marshall before.
And you're just another guy.
I'm just that guy.
Come on,
I'm just
Terrell.
in the background. Yeah.
Terrell Davis here on the Rich Eisen Show, two-time Super Bowl champion, my compadre from NFL Network. Thursday Night Football, as we all know, continues this week. Browns and Ravens, only on NFL Network, where you are an analyst. I mean, you were on NFL Network, I think, week 1, right? Where you were just you got injured and you were just beginning to retire at 2003.
Oh, you talking about when I first started?
Yeah.
No, what happened?
I remember you were.
I came in pretty early though.
Yeah,
but it wasn't week 1. You guys had already started the show.
No, it was November of 2003.
November, and I came on as a guest.
Yes. Okay.
I came on as a guest first, and then like 2 days later, we got a phone call.
We put you to work.
Yeah, put me to work. It was great because I think Ken Norton. It was Ken Norton.
Yeah.
And Lincoln Kennedy.
No, it was Seth Joyner.
Oh, Seth Joyner. That's who it was.
It was Seth.
That's right.
And the current defensive coordinator of your Oakland Raiders at 7-2.
That's right. And that was it.
Were you there the day that Pete Carroll? It's amazing, you know, because my wife Susie was covering USC at the time. And Pete Carroll calls my wife and said, "Hey, I want to stop by NFL Network." So She put me in touch with Pete. Pete and I spoke. He showed up on NFL Network, on NFL Total Access, and then after it was all over, he says, Ken Norton Jr., walk me to my car.
And that's when he gave him the pitch. Huh?
He gave him the pitch. And then suddenly Ken Norton Jr. became a member of the USC staff, which here in this town was huge news because he's Mr. Bruin.
That's right.
And now Ken is coordinating that defense that looked pretty damn good on
They looked
Sunday
pretty
Night
good,
Football.
man. They struggled the first couple of weeks.
They did.
But it takes time. It takes time. And I think when you look at Carl Joseph, their safety, when they put him into that lineup, the back end started to solidify a little bit. Sean Smith started to play a little better during the season. I think, obviously Khalil Mack and what he brings and Bruce Irvin, they're starting to play together. And the offense that they have is, what I saw yesterday, or was it yesterday or 2 days ago? What I saw from
Sunday
their
night.
defense or their team is that they have multiple ways of beating you now. It used to be on the arm of Derek Carr, and it still can be that. But when you can line up and you just say we're gonna go 6 big and just pound you, that's always a good sign that you have a team that can beat you in multiple ways.
We talked about that with Derek Carr last hour about Donald Penn, who told Mike Silver, our friend at NFL Network, after the game they ran the same running play 10 times in a row.
Got to stop it.
What is that like to be involved in that?
It's a beautiful thing, Rich, especially when you're going to run the same play, and they know what you're going to run, but they can't stop it. And I've been a part of many games where we've run the same play. We may have changed the formation. You might have a tight end formation mix up, but it's the same run.
What's it like to get back in the huddle and hear it called for, say, like the 6th straight time? How does that affect a team's psyche when you're in that huddle and you're like, okay, it's the same play, let's do it?
Well, if you're having success doing it, you don't mind. And the confirmation from the coaches that it's you have success doing it, and you're wearing a team down, keep calling it. Just keep calling it. And again, our famous play, I won't say famous play, but everybody knows it's 18-19 handoff for us. Sometimes it's 15-14, which is
what is that?
Inside 18-19 is the stretch play. It's a zone stretch play, which Denver was famous for when I was there. And that was kind of our go-to play.
And in Elway, when he was getting up in advancing years, he'd have to
stretch a little bit.
He'd have to
work a little bit. He'd have to work.
Right.
And sometimes I change my mark because depending on the defense they played a wide 9, which means that defensive end is super far out. Sometimes I'll try to take it further out because I didn't want him squeezing me down all the time, knowing I wanted to break it back inside. So you sort of play with your different landmarks and stretch marks, and sometimes John would have to reach. I'd pull him out there, It's not my job. It's not my job, Rich.
To get it.
For him to get it. I'm going on my mark. It's his job to get it to me.
Yeah.
And that's what
to
we
meet
do.
you at the point.
Meet me at the point.
Right there. So, and it's interesting that you said, I got Terrell Davis here on the Rich Eisen Show, that you say that there's multiple ways the Raiders can beat you now.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking around, I'm scouring certainly the American Football Conference landscape for a team that might be able to go into New England in January and do some business.
You've already, it's a foregone conclusion, right?
Come on.
You've already stamped it.
TB12 is on the FU tour. He's on the FU tour. He is. There's no other way to put it.
Do you think that he gets motivated by stuff like that, or is he already? Is it already built in?
You have been around. Oh, now look. You have been around. Is there? Let's put it this way. Is there any more competitive individual than John Elway that you've been around? Right.
Not that I've been around.
Okay.
No.
Right. Quarterbacks of a certain variety, breed, however you want to put it. He's that, and he's still pissed off about his draft position. And he's won 4 rings, and he's got the supermodel wife. He's got.
Right.
I mean,
and that factors in. The wife factors into it.
Look, you're talking about have you won life? Have you been able to turn around and say, "Look at me now"? That's what a lot of people operate in this world. And yes, absolutely, he's using this. There's no question he's on an FU tour, and he's showing everybody about what's what. I am putting them in the 1 seed right now.
I always figure like this, though, Rich. Like, if you're always a guy that brings it every game, and Tom Brady is that guy, there's only so much more you can bring. There's only so much more that can get your attention. Like, he brings it every game, and he doesn't need the external factors to say, all right, man, I need you to bring it or ratchet it up a notch more. It's already there.
I guess you could say that, and maybe in the way that I'm saying it from the position of a member of the media, that it makes those of us in the media seem more important, that they're listening to what we're saying. I kind of get it from your, you're a player point of view. I understand that. All that said, you don't think he's sitting there thinking, I'll show you, I want to be the best 40-year-old quarterback ever? I want to be the guy who's playing at age 42. You don't think that motivates him, that he comes back at age 39 and he looks like he's better than he was 29? You don't think? I
just don't know if he thinks that far ahead. I mean, I could be wrong. I just think Brady is just he's a game by game. I'm going to bring it every game, and at the end of the race, when it's all said and done, I'll look back on it and I'll say, job well done.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, I guess we got sidetracked a little bit then. It was my way of saying, are the Raiders the best team to go into Foxborough if they make it?
If they make it.
Even though I'm saying when they make it.
When they make it. It's interesting to say that right now because it is halfway through the season. And I think we've seen this before where teams play well and all of a sudden we start to crown them halfway through the season. And then the season plays out, and where are they? Now, I would say this about Oakland. I don't think they'll be that team that fades down the stretch. But I think there's other teams that can do it.
Give me them.
I think Pittsburgh is always dangerous. Right now, they're not playing well. He just came back. His knees not 100%. But that's another team that can get it done. Baltimore, the Ravens, as bad as they've looked and has played, they're another team that can go into Foxborough.
They always seem to, don't they, Brockman? The Ravens always seem to show up.
Those are always great playoff matchups between those two teams. I mean, look, they went up there and upset them in 2010.
Yeah, man. It's early, and right now we want to crown him. I'm not using Denny Green stuff.
Yeah, no.
But
now were we on the set together for that one too? I can't remember. I can't remember. We may have been. Gosh. Yeah, we go way back, man.
We certainly do.
I want to take a break. I'm going to give my power rankings.
Let me see these things.
Okay, I'm going to give my power rankings.
Can I shoot a hole in them?
Feel free. Beat them up? Feel free, but I think that they're rock solid.
All right.
I think they're rock solid.
We'll
I'm not crowning anybody. Why wouldn't you do that? Terrell Davis is here on the Rich Eisen Show. Ryan Phillippe, big Eagle fan like Law, will be strolling in here in hour number 3. Don't you dare move. 844-204-RICH. If you're hanging on, hang on. We'll take your calls as well here in hour number 2 of the Rich Eisen Show. Trustmark warranty. There's no worse feeling than you're on the side of the road. When was the last time you were broken down on the side of the road?
My wife was not me. My wife.
Okay.
My wife breaks down all the time. All the time. It's the weirdest thing, man.
Just you get a call and you're like, my car.
She called me. As a matter of fact, 3 weeks ago, I'm in studio about to shoot the show, and she calls and says that her car won't start.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Trustmark warranty.
Okay.
Help me help you.
Gotcha.
Help your wife.
I'm on it, man.
Okay. Trustmarkwarranty.com offers warranty plans from 1 to 4 years, all with 0% financing options. Comes with 24/7 roadside assistance, 150-mile tow, and a rental card. So next time it happens, you just say, "Hun, you've got the number to Trustmark
warranty." My wife wants
warranty.
me to show up. That's the deal. She wants me to.
I'm looking at the Trustmark warranty deal that we've got to offer people at trustmarkwarranty.com right now. I don't see the Terrell Davis shows up option. But you can take your vehicle to any licensed repair shop or dealership. Go to trustmarkwarranty.com. Peace of mind minus the Terrell Davis option is waiting for you at trustmarkwarranty.com. Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. Best night of sleep will be right there for you when you go to mypillow.com. Get custom fit and score their best offer ever. It's the 4-pack special. 2 pillows for the price of 1, plus 2 extra Go Anywhere pillows for free. Click on the radio listeners specials link on mypillow.com. Use the promo code RICH. Call right now. 800-613-5974. That's 800-613-5974. Terrell Davis sitting here on the Rich Eisen Show studio. Dabo Swinney, whose Clemson Tigers just waxed Brockman's Syracuse Orange 54-0.
Yeah, not good.
They're currently the number 2 team in the playoff rankings. Dabo Swinney just announced what we were all expecting, that Deshaun Watson's going to turn pro at the end of this year.
Yeah, one of 4 Clemson Tigers that are going to go pro.
Have you ever heard of a coach making that announcement in November?
That's a little strange.
That's a new one for me, right?
That's a little strange. Yeah. because wouldn't you want to just focus on, the playoffs and trying to get your team,
or just I guess throw out there what everybody's wondering. They're taking on 5-4 Pittsburgh coming up on Saturday. I wish we had a chance to ask Dabo Swinney what he's thinking.
Oh, Rich, Dabo's on the show tomorrow.
Okay.
There you go.
Hour 3?
Hour 3.
Okay, make a note of that. So it was you and Hines Ward in the backfield, right, in Georgia?
Yeah.
Together?
Yeah, Hines and I, yeah. Originally Hines came in, he was a freshman, and I was a senior, and I ended up tearing my hamstring. I think I missed 6 games that year.
Right.
And so Hines came in as the tailback. And then when I got back, they wanted their 2 best backs in the backfield. So I played fullback, and Hines stayed at halfback. So
we actually played fullback.
Play fullback.
So in an I formation,
I'm the fullback. I got me on middle linebackers, Sam linebackers, and did a lot of blocking.
You meet people in the hole to make sure Hines was running.
Yeah.
Is that part of the reason why you weren't drafted as high as you were? Do you think?
No, the numbers weren't there. It just the numbers weren't there
in Georgia, and also for the 40-yard dash, correct?
What you mean? Well, I think I was better than you, Rich. Come on, man. My 40 wasn't great.
No, what was your 40? What was your 40 time?
My 40 time was 4.7. 4.7, right? 4.7.
So
40.
Did Shanahan knock on your door during the process of evaluation and give you an indication that you're, or did he give you the Cutler treatment, which was like not even talk to you and just draft you anyway?
I didn't even hear from Denver. I had no idea Denver was the team that even had an interest in me. The 2 teams that I had spoken to was the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys. And they came up for, pro day, all that stuff. And I ran a better 40 time at the pro day. But other than that, there was only 2 teams that I had heard from, and I thought I was going. I really thought Cleveland would have drafted me.
Just keep sticking it to the poor people of Cleveland. They had a chance. They had a chance to draft Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have been drafted by Belichick, wouldn't you?
Was he there in '95? Was that the? Was he there in '95?
Wasn't or were they? Yeah, it was their last year, I think, before they.
That
really?
Before it was all
Well, they drafted my quarterback, Eric Zier.
Yes.
Was drafted.
Oh, Belichick would have been your first coach instead of Shanahan.
Interesting.
It's amazing these things that happen. Did Jerry Jones ever reach out to you?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
So tell this story before we get to my power rankings here about the special teams play that I guess put you on the map with Shanahan, right? Mm-hmm. Tell that story.
Well, it happened. We played 2 special preseason games, and the first one was here. We played the Niners here, and then we flew over to Japan, played the Niners again, which was odd.
Yeah.
So I didn't play in the first preseason game at all. We go over to Tokyo. The week is a horrible week for me because I'm really 6th on the depth chart, not getting a lot of road.
6th on the depth chart.
I was down there.
Were you afraid that you might get cut?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think I was going to make the team, really, because you get drafted as a 6th-round draft pick. You just assume you're there just as a camp body, just to give the veterans some extra, reps. That was sort of my role at the time because I was getting no regular team reps. And so we go to Tokyo, and somehow a lot of our guys go down. One of our running backs stayed in here in California. Some guys got cramps when they went down. So I was getting a lot more reps, but I was screwing up every play. I was exhausted. It was hot.
What do you mean you were screwing up every play?
Meaning just missing assignments.
Not hitting the hole, pass protection, stuff like that?
Yeah, mainly in pass protection, mainly in even the runs. I was missing holes. Just wasn't comfortable. Mm-hmm. And so after that day, I went back to the hotel. I'm like, listen, dude, I'm not gonna make this team. I was trying to get a flight out of Tokyo at the time, and they didn't have. You don't have Trulia. You don't have Expedia or Travelocity, none of that stuff. No computer. So I'm trying to call down to the front desk to see if I can arrange a flight to get out of there. Because I'm like, Rich, I'm not gonna make this team. There was no way I was gonna make it.
You ready to tap out?
I was ready to tap out.
Because you thought that the Turk had gotten a passport to Japan to tap you on the shoulder.
It was the writings were on the wall. I wasn't gonna make the team.
And then what happened?
So then I eventually couldn't get out of there. So I stayed. And I was like, listen, when I get back to stateside, then I'm gonna get cut anyway. Mm-hmm. So it don't really matter. So then we have the game on that I think it's Saturday, whatever day it is. I don't play in the first half. Second half comes, I don't play in the second. I don't play in the third quarter of the second half. So I start eating like everybody else. Everybody, veterans doing preseason they're eating on the sideline because you're only getting the first series, and then they come off the field.
All right.
And so everybody's over there grabbing on hot dogs, Kobayashi hot dogs, and eating, Snickers, whatever they're eating. So I'm like, I'm not going to play. So I started eating a little bit of that stuff. Special teams coach comes over, and he says, Davis, you're going in on kickoff. And I'm not ready. I really don't know where I'm going in. Just kind of, You're
picking the nougat out of your teeth.
Exactly. So I just go in, and I'm sort of lined up by the kicker, go down there, and I run down and make a tackle. Pretty good tackle, by the way.
Yeah.
And that play, after I made that tackle, I go back to the sideline, and I'm thrown up on the sideline, and my running backs coach comes over there, and he asks me if I'm okay, and I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. He says, it's good. He said, because you're going in the next series when we get the ball. And so I go in the next series, and I get probably about eight rushes, like 40-something yards. I mean, decent performance. And that was it. After that, man, it was next game I got more and more. They gave me more reps in practice.
Wow. So if you had gotten the flight home.
Yeah, I wouldn't be sitting here, man. I wouldn't be sitting on on this chair. If I had taken that flight out.
I had heard the story about how you didn't think you were getting in a game.
Yeah.
I'd not heard that story about how you try to get a flight out.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I had spoke Japanese, man, I wouldn't be sitting here. Rich. I tell you that right now.
Yeah, you called down on the front desk. They didn't talk English.
Well, just hard, Just
okay, sure.
Communication lines were not clear. So it just wasn't worth it, man. But yeah, I think back to that moment a lot, man. I kind of tell people, man, just don't give up on yourself, man. That's kind of the lesson I learned with that. Is just don't quit on yourself. Enough people are gonna quit on you.
Okay.
So you don't have to quit on yourself.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do I get you for one more segment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because let's take a break, come back, we'll do the power rankings, maybe sneak in a little college football conversation, and a phone call or two.
Perfect.
With Terrell Davis.
Sounds good,
right
man.
here. What a story. Here, we're back with more in a minute on The Rich Eisen Show. Terrell Davis here on the Rich Eisen Show studio. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial. We're going to take your calls. It's interesting how you said that pass protection was an issue. That's usually what the issue is for a lot of young rookie running backs coming to the league. Ezekiel Elliott appears to have no such problems.
Right.
Is he the best running back in the NFL right now? Terrell Davis.
Oh, he's proven it, man. I guess if you say based off performance right now, you can throw him up there. Is Adrian Peterson still the best running back in the game? You can say I still like Todd Gurley, even though the numbers are just.
What's going on here? What's going on here in Los Angeles?
There's a combination of things, man. I think the scheme for him, I don't think is the best scheme, and I know he ran in the same offense last year. Rich, when I watched it, every play there's always something. It's just he's a block away from making a play. There's either a missed assignment. Sometimes he's pressing a lot because he hasn't had success, so he wants it to happen faster. So the clock speeds up. Where you had patience before, now you're just trying to hit the hole. So there's a combination of things that's happening with Todd Gurley. But I think you don't go from what he did last year to just being a bust. I mean, the talent is still there. It's just the pieces around him. Those things need to happen more, and he just has to have a little success, I believe, in order to start to get that thing rolling.
Meanwhile, there's some second-year running backs that are not having that step back. Jay Ajayi, Melvin Gordon's been terrific in San Diego.
That's what I'm saying.
He had almost 200 yards rushing.
Yeah, how about his season, right? I mean, 11. I think it's 11 rushing touchdowns.
He couldn't win
now?
for losing last year.
Yeah, no. And again, I think he felt the pressure because he was drafted in the first round, where he was sort of pressing a little bit, and he had the injury too. But to come back and bounce back like he has, now you can see what he's capable of doing. You can see that talent just starting to just come out. He's effective in the passing game. His game is there. I like him as well.
If I had to choose someone, I'd go David Johnson, though, right? I mean,
David Johnson is.
Could you say? He just looks big, tall. He is
big and tall.
I know. That's why he looks big and tall. That's odd because he actually is, Rich. No, but I think you know what I'm saying. That he just seems to make these moves and he glides.
Right.
And you can't get a good shot on him for somebody who's big and tall too.
Yeah, he's got that ability, and those are instincts. That's something you can't.
Right.
We always talk about things you can teach. You can't teach that. You can't teach the ability to make somebody miss. Just have instincts of the subtleness and the way he changes pace and as far as his speed, to look slower than you're actually going is an art, man. You know, sometimes it's what they call that deceptive speed, which you can break a lot of angles doing that. I try to change up the gears when I played, trying to keep it in first, second, put it to third, because I wasn't the fastest dude, but so I needed that to help me get out of things, and that's what David Johnson does.
Terrell Davis here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, let me get to the power rankings.
Let's do it. Let's go, man. What you got?
And now, Rich's weekly NFL power rankings.
You have the power.
See, we got a whole big spiel. I'm not just going to give you the power rankings. I had this whole thing.
You got to lead in with
that. The whole setup. Now you said you can guess what's 5-1. You want to guess who's number 5?
Where are you starting?
The 5th best team in the NFL right now.
You start the 5th best?
Yeah, I'm going to go number 5. I'll just give you this one. Seahawks.
Okay.
I like the Seahawks. I think Michael Bennett's going to get healthy again, and then this defense, we showed a couple of weeks ago what it looks like even without Cam Chancellor. Russell Wilson looks healthy.
He's getting healthier.
They need Thomas Rawls back. They need a running game.
They need to run. That's a huge part of the equation for them. And Russell's taking it upon himself to be, who he is. And he did that a little bit last year. Remember when Rawls went down last year?
He was required to do that.
It was required, but they need that run game.
Well, and then Jimmy Graham showed up last night in the big way.
Oh, man, big time, right?
I just like the Seahawks at 5. Number 4 is the team that I saw last week on Thursday Night Football. It's definitely not the Bucs.
Uh-oh.
It's the Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons at 4. Okay.
Matt Ryan is an MVP candidate. Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu. When Tevin Coleman comes back, he and Freeman I think they're the best backfield in the NFL.
Yeah.
They're getting a little bit of pass rush. Vic Beasley's beginning to assert himself a little bit. When Freeney can be healthy, they can get something going right here.
Yes, they can. Okay, Atlanta at 4.
A little concerned about, their secondary, but if they can get the pass rush, at 6-3, I think that they're one of the best teams in the NFC. You want to guess who number 3 is?
3 is going to be the Oakland Raiders.
That is correct.
Yes, for you. Yes.
I believe in them. I thought Denver was going to go in there and do what the Chiefs did and do what the Falcons did, which was throw the Raiders a little bit off their game. But the Raiders were not off their game. And I think that they are the team that can go point for point with Tom Brady if need be. And I think Khalil Mack can be that Von Miller disruptive presence that the Patriots had a problem with last year. I like the Raiders at 3 overall.
I don't have a problem with that. I think the Raiders at 3 is solid, man. They've proven it. And this is the game that I was looking at, too. If they can beat Denver, and I know it was in Oakland, but this was like the litmus test for them. Can they get past this test where everybody expects them? Some people say they would lose. I said they would lose. But they're now saying, listen, we're not the old Raiders.
No.
We're putting a stamp on this new Raiders team, and they look good.
They did. Running the same run and play 10 times in a row.
You're impressed by that.
I am. I just love that style. I think what Del Rio's doing, going for 2 in week 1, having Donald Penn score a touchdown in Tampa where he used to be. I mean, he's got a pulse here. He's got the pulse of what these guys need, and he's pressing the right buttons, and it's all working out. Number 2,
Dallas Cowboys.
They are the Dallas Cowboys,
Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys at 2. Who would have thought?
They are the best team in the NFC. I don't think there's any question about it, right? You have a question?
No,
about that?
I don't.
No, you're just looking at Zeke and
I was trying to think if I had any questions about the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I'm going to ask you the obvious question about the Cowboys before I finish it off with the Patriots at number 1. Again, TB12 is on the FU tour. You may tell me that he doesn't think about it, but I do think so. I absolutely think about it. Those are my power
That's
rankings
your boy.
right
You
now.
talk to him every day. So.
What do you do if you're Dallas? If Romo says I'm healthy this week and the doctors clear him? Pittsburgh Steelers.
Romo, I have a nice seat right here on the bench for you, buddy. Right next to me. I'm keeping Romo on the bench, and it's not that difficult to me. You keep the hot hand in there. You keep Dak Prescott as your starting quarterback. If he falters, if you need a spark, you bring Romo in. But I won't disrupt what they have right now. And he's earned, in my opinion, the right to be the starting quarterback at this point. The question is, what do you do? I guess after the season with Tony Romo, that's a different conversation. But right now. Because we've seen it happen, right? I mean, just look at Denver last year. As an example of if you have 2 quarterbacks that you can sort of plug in when you need them. Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler last year.
Yeah.
They're going to need a spark at some point. Dak might hit a wall at some point. He's a rookie. This is a long season for him. He might go through a stretch where he's struggling.
Yeah.
Then I'm bringing in Tony Romo.
Well, in the same way that Bledsoe had to get in that AFC Championship game.
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah, Romo needs to stay ready. Yep. And in terms of what they do with Romo after this year, it's quite simple. What does any team do with a quarterback that gets up there in years?
Yeah. You got to trade. I mean,
what they do is they call the Jets and say, "Do you want?"
Yeah. Send them to the
That's
Jets.
what you're doing.
Yeah, you got.
Please.
It's a great name for Cowboys.
There's a rule book.
The
for this
Cowboys
sort of
are in a great spot right now. Great spot.
They are.
If they can, if Tony Romo gets traded after the season, Dak Prescott is playing. The contract he's playing under is.
But what makes you think the Steelers can? They looked horrible, and they looked horrible in the game that Big Ben got hurt in.
Rich, I can go back and give you examples of teams who have looked horrible at some point during the season, but they went on and win a Super Bowl.
Okay.
We've got an entire half of season to go.
Season's not over? Is that what you're saying? Did you hear the Jim Moore Senior rant after the Saints went 0-3?
Oh, yeah.
Season is not over.
We got that at the ready.
Oh, I worked with him on the network. You talking about a guy that gets upset when you say something about
anything.
Playoffs?
I called him one time, Rich, I called him a coach out of respect.
Yeah.
He got mad because I called him coach.
Why?
He's like, do I call you player? Do I call you player? Why do you call me coach?
That's a more response.
Why do you call me coach out of the I'm like, Jim, I call you coach just out of respect.
Do you have something for TD?
Yeah, so TD, Rich just gave his power rankings for the NFL. Obviously, we were talking Georgia football earlier. Georgia has some historic running backs. Can you give us your Georgia power rankings of all-time running backs?
Oh, come on. All time?
I mean, we got Todd Gurley. We got Garrison Hurst, we got Herschel Walker, and then if we're going to go old school, back to the 40s, you had 2 number 1 overall picks, Charlie Tripp and Frank Sikwich.
That he's never heard of.
I want to hear.
I don't think I can give you a top 5.
I want to hear your power rankings, of those guys.
Running out of those guys.
You can leave the guys from the 40s.
Wait, you missed Rodney Hampton.
Rodney Hampton, and then if you want to throw Hines in there, but he was quarterback, running back.
Well, he also had a great fullback. He had a
good fullback too, though.
Yeah. But how about you didn't put Todd Gurley in there either?
No, I said Gurley. Yeah, Gurley, Herschel Walker, Garrison Hurst,
what do you think?
Rodney Hampton. I mean, we got to rank this. We're an era of lists. TD,
Garrison, I played with Garrison. Garrison was a hell of a running back.
We got to go Herschel number 1, right?
If you want to, then you guys, you'll put Herschel.
No, Herschel TD beef.
Herschel's my boy, man. Listen, hold on, man. I didn't think about this. You guys just sprung this on me. I got to sit down and do this with some clarity here. I'm not doing it with clarity. I'm just doing it off emotions now. Off emotions.
Off the gut.
All right, let's go. We throw Herschel 1.
Okay.
Number 2, all time. I'm gonna put Garrison at number 2.
Okay. 3rd overall pick of the '93 draft.
I'll put Garrison number 2. Mm-hmm. I'll throw Rodney Hampton at 3.
Okay.
I'll put Todd Gurley at 4, and then I'll throw
yourself in there.
Not Georgia running backs.
Okay.
Who would be?
I mean, Noshawn was great at Georgia. His pro career hasn't gone the way he wanted.
I'm missing somebody.
Todd Gurley, and then Rodney Hampton. You said Nick Chubb's there currently.
Chubb's. I'm gonna put Tim Worley, man.
Okay, there you go.
I'll put Worley.
There you go, Terrell Davis.
5, there you go.
Hey, Jay in Arkansas wants to chime in before we let you go. Jay in Arkansas, you're here with Terrell Davis on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Jay?
Hello, fellas. Hey, Terrell, I just wanted to say I was a young staff sergeant. I was about 26, 27 years old. And I was at the Tokyo Dome. I was stationed in Japan when you laid the lumber on the 49er guy. And let me tell you, watching the reaction in the fans, there's one thing I know, that every culture on the earth enjoys a good deep leader, man. And it was something to watch. Although, I didn't realize it was you at the time until I was watching the Football Life and they showed the replay. And I was like, good Lord, that was Terrell Davis that put the smack on that guy, man.
Did you know he was filled with hot dogs and Snickers at the time, too, Jay?
I did not know. But I tell you, the 2 most memorable things in that game is obviously that, but actually the warm-ups, man. I'd never been to a pro game. In fact, that's the only pro game I've ever been to. But in the warm-ups, Steve Young's throwing passes to everyone, and they look good and all that. But John Elway, he was throwing these 30, 40-yard passes, one right the other. I mean, every pass was right in the breadbasket. I was like, good Lord, how can a guy be that accurate? I think Terrell could probably verify that, but I could not believe a guy could throw a football that good.
How about that?
And, but, man, it was an honor to be there to see that, Terrell. You know how happy it made me to find out that was actually you that did that.
Well, I appreciate it. I think you're the first person who said they were actually there.
There you go.
You're the first person that ever said, "Hey, I was there and I saw it."
Yeah, the Air Base put on they had a MWR morale welfare tour from the base and took a whole bus of folks, man, and my son and I went, and
that's great.
Yeah, it was something else.
Hey, Jay, thank you for your service, and I know Veterans Day's coming up later this week, so thank you.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
Jay.
you calling
Thanks,
in.
man.
Thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Terrell.
You bet. That's Jay in Arkansas right there.
How about that, huh? He's at the game. What if he has any video, like they didn't have cameras.
Well, there's no cameras.
Yeah, no cameras. That's right. Yeah. Well,
that's like the old Norm Macdonald joke. How there's somebody has a picture of their great grandfather right now. It's this grainy picture of him sitting there just like looking
That's
mean.
it.
Now 50 years from now, somebody's going to hold up. Hey, here's my 100,000 pictures of my great granddad.
At least
here he is driving. Here he is doing.
Where are you, Rich, with your kids, man? You got to be in at least
8, 5, and 3 right now. Oh, you mean in terms of the number of pictures on my camera?
Yes.
We'd like to know how many numbers I have.
Yes, you got to be in at least the.
All right, stick around one more
50,
segment. We'll do the over/under.
50,000?
You guess how many pictures I have on my phone. Used to be all of my dog, but not anymore.
Yikes.
Not anymore. One more segment with Terrell Davis. There's a couple more phone calls as well. How about that news about Deshaun Watson? How about them apples?
Pro.
Well, we knew he was going to go
surprising.
pro, but you never really hear that from a coach.
The
Just come
coach
out and
doesn't
say
confirm
that.
it. No.
Okay.
Not often.
Back with more with Terrell Davis. One more segment. Ryan Phillippe is going to be in studio as well. Big Eagles fan. That's hour number 3 here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.